What is going on, divine cosmic beings? That's Gemini, come back to you all with another video. So we got a Leo sun, a Gemini moon, and I can't see in the mirror what the other one is, but we're gonna get into that Gemini moon. So whenever we talk about the moon in astrology, the moon literally represents how you intuitively perceive information. So when we talk about the moon literally comes up at night. Normally whenever people are sleeping, that's like when the moon is starting to rise, because people are starting to get like lower in their energy like outputs. And the moon talks about how you rest, and the moon talks about like how you regenerate your energy, because think about it, whenever the sun is up, that's whenever we have the most energy that's on the earth, just for the simple fact that the sun literally charges us with its energy. So the sun talks about how we output energy, the moon talks about how we input energy, how we receive energy, how we receive internal stimulation. And so whenever the moon comes up, the moon talks about also how you find comfort in like your day-to-day reality or your day-to-day life. And so whenever we speak on the moon is like a very personal energy, just for the simple fact that whenever the moon comes up, it comes up literally when the sky is starting to get dark and you can't really see that much outside. So it talks about like shielding yourself from view. So literally that's why the moon rules over the zodiac sign Cancer, because Cancer is ruled by the crab, and it has like a hard shell which deals with shielding itself from the outside world. So literally when you go in your house, you shut yourself off from everything that's outside, because you need your peace inside. So whenever you have your moon in like an air sign element, this talks about a person that receives comfort from mental stimulation, because when we speak on the zodiac sign Gemini is literally ruled by the planet Mercury, and within astrology, Mercury talks about how we communicate. It talks about how we rationalize and perceive information from different levels and from different volumes and from different channels, and it's information that is not just geared in one straight path. It's information that comes from like a plethora of channels, a plethora of means. Excuse this background noise. Soon as I'm doing like a video in this format with my whole backdrop and shit, everybody want to pop off. That's what Gemini deals with. It deals with a whole bunch of chatter and things coming out of nowhere, things randomly happening, spiraling what seems out of control. And so whenever we talk about Gemini, it gains control by things like happening out of control, because it's like you're now being hit from so many different angles that your mind is like kind of challenged in order to navigate its surroundings. And so when we talk about a person that has the moon in Gemini, this is a person that is intuitively able to perceive information that is being directed towards them, and they're able to navigate these things like kind of free form. Because whenever we talk about the element of air talks about like us not even really being able to control much of what is coming towards us, because with the air you can't even see it coming. So it's like, how can you control something that you can't even see? So that's why I talked about like shit just spiraling out of your control, what seems out of your control. So air is like a tornado like type of energy, and you never really know what path it's going to take. You just know that it's spiraling out of control, and it's just like, well, let me just get the hell out the way of whatever the fuck is going to happen. So it's like whenever a person has like their moon in Gemini, this is the person whose emotions can kind of spiral out of control in some way, shapes, and forms if your energy is like overstimulated to that extent to where it's like people are just literally driving you insane. So sometimes but it's a buildup of energy too. Like whenever you have your moon in Gemini, this is also a person that you can kind of take it as if you have your Mercury in Cancer, because remember we stated that Mercury rules over Gemini, and I stated that it's like having your Mercury in Cancer just for the simple fact that the moon is literally ruled by Cancer, right? So if we're talking about Cancer and we're talking about Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, it's like having your Mercury in Cancer. So Mercury is like how you communicate, how you relate information, how you think, and how you like to rationalize your thoughts. And it also talks about like how you are stimulated by the information that you even receive. And it even talks about also like what those things produce in you that you are stimulated by, like what emotions that they generate inside of you now that you heard them. It talks about like also what you give your attention to, like your mind, because your mind deals with like attention, and it deals with like what entertains you, what engages your mind, what engages your ears, because Mercury is not just like how you speak and how you talk and how you communicate, it's also how you listen as well, and it's also how like you take in information from the outside world in order to even generate a response to whatever is like calling or like trying to grasp your attention for you to even sit down in front of it and to give it energy back. That's Divinity signing out. Peace. I hope that helped.